So I have before me two laptops with very similar form factors, but very different features and specifications. We have the Asus ROG Flow X16 and the Asus ROG Zephyrus M16. Now, the biggest difference right off the bat is that the M16 comes with an Intel i9-12900H, and the X16 comes with the Ryzen 9 6900HS. Now, by choosing the Ryzen processor in the X16, you're going to get about an hour better of battery life throughout all the tests. Now, these were run at 25% screen brightness. They were set to eco mode, and I set the panels to 60 Hertz in order to try and get the best battery life possible. So we're only running off the CPU for these battery life tests. Now, the one benefit to also going with the X16 is that you're going to get a mini LED display. So it's going to be slightly more power efficient, but also brighter, more crisp, and more color accurate. So you can see the color gamut range results coming up on the screen. And as you can see, the X16 outpaces the M16 by quite a few percentage points. Now, the laptops are fairly similar in regards to the thin and light form factor. As you can see, they're almost identical. However, the X16 is slightly thinner than the M16. Now, in regards to the webcam, they both have webcams built into the top of the bezel, and here's a quick sample of each of the webcams for you so you can see how those look. This is the webcam for the Asus ROG X16 and a little sample of the audio for you as well. Here is the webcam on the Asus ROG Zephyrus M16 and a little sample of the audio for you as well. And in regards to the speakers on top of the keyboard deck, here's a quick audio sample so you can hear how each of the speakers sound. Now, regarding the thermal results for the 4K video editing export, which laptop runs cooler and quieter? Surprisingly, overall, the Ryzen CPU inside of the X16 actually ran slightly cooler. Now, in turbo mode, we did see cooler temperatures out of the M16, but overall, the highest CPU temperature we saw out of the X16 was 82 degrees Celsius, where the highest temperature out of the M16 was 84 degrees Celsius. Now, we did see a 1 second better export time out of the M16, but again, that's not going to make a big enough difference for me to say that I'm going to say the winner is the M16, because slightly cooler temperatures definitely stand out to me, and being a more efficient CPU, getting better battery life is definitely important to me as well. Now, if you're curious about the exact pricing differences and the availability of either of these laptops, you can head down in the description below and click those links. Now, if you do make a purchase, I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Now, regarding the ports, it's pretty simple. The X16 comes with an XG mobile port, which hides the USB Type-C. So they both come with two USB Type-Cs and two USB Type-As. However, the additional port on the M16 is the network jack. You both get HDMI on both the laptops and a micro SD card slot. So you're getting an extra port, the network port on the M16. So that definitely has an advantage there if you're doing any streaming or gaming or you need a really fast internet connection. If you want to get more connected to the BenjiKaiser community, we just launched a Patreon where you can get more access to me by asking comments and questions, as well as live streams where you can get on and discuss which laptop you're looking for, or even maybe some advice for your professional creative career. Also, we'll be doing live face-to-face calls where you can interact and we can chat about what laptop you're considering and just get to know each other better. It's a place where we're all coming together in community. Now, there are a couple different tiers, so definitely head on over to Patreon right now or, at the end of this video and check it out. I would love for you to join our community. Now, one of the most important differentiators between these two laptops to me is the upgrade path. The X16 allows you to upgrade both RAM sticks inside of the computer, where the M16 only allows you one upgradable RAM stick. So you can take the X16 and push it farther with a RAM upgrade than you can with the M16. So definitely a huge bonus choosing the X16 for that reason. Now, without further ado, let's get into the performance benchmarks. First and foremost, kicking it off in Geekbench single core and multi-core, you can see that the Intel processor definitely trumps the Ryzen processor in those two initial tests. Now looking at Cinebench R20 and R23 single core and multi-core, once again, the M16 stands out above the Ryzen processor. Now, I don't really love to rely on simulated benchmarks in regards to my test, so let's get into some real world benchmarks and see which laptop performs better. Now, looking at Blender, you can see that the Ryzen processor inside of the X16 actually outperforms Intel by about 70 points. So definitely, if you're gonna be using Blender, choosing Ryzen would be a better bet for you. Looking at Autodesk 3ds Max, however, we're gonna see a slight advantage in the M16 by about 10 points. Moving on to Autodesk Maya, you can see that it really doesn't matter, M16 or X16, they both perform about the same. Looking at PTC Creo, same thing, only about a 4-point difference. And then in SolidWorks, once again, only a 4-point difference. So really the biggest difference is going to be in Autodesk 3ds Max, but it really is not that substantial. Now moving on to Photoshop, this is an area where we once again see pretty neck and neck comparison. The one advantage of the X16 that you'll have though is you have a 2-in-1 screen that flips out. Now this allows you to go on the go as a creator with a pen, whether you're a graphic designer, digital artist, or photographer, make touch-ups on your design or art projects or photographs. Having this 2-in-1 screen is definitely a huge benefit, and you're gonna have enough performance that you won't have any issues with bottlenecking this laptop. Now moving on to After Effects, let's say you want to take those designs or art to the next level and animate it. Well, inside of After Effects, both laptops will suit you well. They're only a few points difference once again. And so really for me, the 2-in-1 laptop with the touchscreen really is what stands out the X16 from the M16. Now looking at Premiere Pro Playback, we have 16,177 frames in the test project. And as you can see, the X16 only dropped 69 frames for B-RAW and 219 for red footage, whereas the M16 dropped 148 for B-RAW and 1,444 for red footage. So definitely gonna have an advantage by choosing the X16 over the M16. Now looking at the Premiere Pro 4K export time, you can see that there's not an advantage here. Both RTX 3070 Ti's perform about the same inside of these laptops. And so the advantage is going to be the playback. So if you're looking for faster playback, a quicker laptop in Premiere Pro, the X16 will serve you well. Now moving on to Premiere Pro 6K export time, you can see that there's about a 30-second difference between the two laptops. So once again, nothing too substantial, but again, the X16 is the better performer. Looking at DaVinci Resolve. For DaVinci Resolve, the M16 will actually give you better results by about 1 minute on the export time. So if you extrapolate that over an hour, film that you're exporting versus this 9-minute clip that I'm exporting, it could save you about 10 or 15 minutes by choosing the M16 over the X16. Now, punch for punch, I personally am sold out for the X16. It has a better screen, it's got better battery life, it has pretty much the same, if not better performance for video editing, and I just really love the 2-in-1 functionality of the laptop. Match that with cool and quiet thermals and you really have an amazing package. However, if you're a big fan of Intel and you really want to go with the Intel i9-12900H and you just like the M16 look and feel overall, then I totally understand why you might choose the M16, but for me personally, I think the X16 is a better buy. So maybe whatever one you can find on sale. Check the links in the description below for the live pricing and availability of each model. Otherwise, likes of this video has brought you some value, and if you want to get more exclusive content that will never be seen on YouTube, check out that Patreon. I'd love for you to join the community at any tier. It would mean the world to me. I'll see you here in the next video.